Hey y'all, I'm the type of person that always seems to buy stuff that once I get done with it, it's just not worth anything to anybody else, so can't hardly sell it. You know, kind of like this Bush Hog right here. As you can see, it's all tore up and has needing to be replaced a long time ago. But all the ones that I've found have been a little bit more money than I've wanted to spend. But fortunately, I got a buddy that's always finding good deals on stuff. And a few months ago, I told him, I said, hey, if you ever run across a Bush Hog that's in a good shape, you know, go ahead and pick it up for me and, you know, I'll buy it from you. And I told him, I said, you know, anything from $300 down. And I kind of figured, you know, what's the chances of me finding a $300 Bush Hog that's in good shape? Because most of the ones that I see are like around 500 and above, and they're not very good. They're like this one, or maybe not quite as bad a shape, but anyway, he found one, and you won't believe what I had to give him for it. $250. So here it is right here. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift it up and take it apart on the bottom and try to change the blades, or take the blades off and sharpen the blades. I'm going to check the gearbox, and then I'm going to hook it up to my tractor and see how good it works. So that's what we're going to do right now. You can see it's a little rusty on top, but not bad. I mean, it's still solid. What I can do is if I ever get around to it, I can sand it off and paint it. Maybe it'll last a little longer. Well, I want to show you why my stuff gets to looking the way it does. Look what I just did to this mower. Hadn't even used it yet. Done bent the heck out of that thing. I'm gonna have to beat that out and weld it again back across up there, up in that area. Doggone it. First thing I'm gonna do though is you can tell these blades are really wore down. I'm gonna try to get these off and try to put another edge on them. It's hard to even tell which way the edge goes. They're so round. That's not looking like it's gonna be easy to get off of there. I bent that side too. Broke the weld up there. Dang it, boy. That nut, some kind of rusty. I'll spray some penetrant stuff on there. I don't know why they build any of these mowers without a hole in them so that you can take these off from the other side. It just don't make any sense to me. Pretty solid it looks like, other than me tearing it up. Man, that really bent that good. Broke it well. And broke this from down here too. It's got a pin, cotter pin going through right here. We gotta get that off. Out, off, something. Oh, I'm gonna have to tighten this up. We don't want that spinning all around. See if we can find a piece of pipe and all this junk over here. Here's something. Here's a piece of iron. We'll stick it through that yoke of that. Stiffen it up somehow. I need a screwdriver. Now that almost never happens to me. Okay, what size is that? Let me go get a wire brush real fast. Inch and a half. Now which way do we turn this thing? If it spins that way. My luck, it's crooked. Holy. Oh, shoot. Give me a piece of pipe, stick on there and see if that'll help. I need a longer piece though. Wait. Break it. Oh, I got it loose. Yes, thank you, Jesus. Woo! That don't happen very often either.
Well, getting this thing off here might be worse. I sure hope not.
Be nice. That thing would slide off, but it sure is rusty looking. Terrible. That's rusty. Oh, no way. There's almost got to be a puller that would go in here and pull that off of there. All right, I've done a little bit of thinking, and I've decided what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get in the center of these holes right here and drill me a pilot hole to the other side, and then I'm going to use a hole saw to try to come to the other side and try to just take these blades off. I don't think it's going to be worth my time to try to get that out of there. Now, if that fails, which it can, then we're going to have to try to figure out how to get this off. And I'm already done tore it all up, so I'm creating more work for myself, so I think that's going to be the fastest thing. I want to show you real quick what's happened on this thing that I've noticed. Whoever had this sharpened these blades on this bottom side right here. This angle, like that right there. I'm guessing they had the issue with it as well. They couldn't get these blades off, and they didn't sharpen it the way that it was supposed to be. So I'm going to try to get them off and buy some new blades and start fresh, I believe. But first I got to get a hole cut in there. So we'll see what we can do with that. I got to make sure that it's off center. I may have to take that bar out from the back. I don't want it lined up in the center because I won't be able to get my wrench on it because of that bar that goes to the wheel back here. I'll use this. Kind of punch a little hole, just barely dent it a little bit, and then that drill bit will go right in there. y'all, that ain't gonna work either. Right here is where that little drill bit was gonna come through, and there's not enough room with this to be able to get the right size hole saw in there to be able to get a socket on that nut to take it off. So I have to go to something else. I think I'm gonna try to figure out how to get this thing upside down. Soak that spline shaft there, and then start beating on it with a hammer and maybe get some heat on it and see if I can get it off that way. Maybe we can get a little bit of this in there. Well, we're gonna have to do some thinking on this. See what we can do to get that off there. I just don't know right this minute. Alright y'all, I got that stump jumper off of there, and I wanted to just explain to you what I did, because I didn't show you as far as the video. But I laid it up on its side like this right here, and I stuck penetrating oil around this shaft right here, and I let it stay there for 3 days. And every day I came out here, that's about the third day, so it was 2.5 days, I guess, because I put it on there one day and it was 2 days later, two evenings later. I'd come out here and I'd beat on it with hammers. Nothing, wasn't moving. So I got around these little grooves here, and I could get a piece of wire down in there, and I'd poke around, and it'd make it, get around and knock some of the rust out, and then I'd put more penetrating oil inside there. And finally on the third day I came out here and I was like, I got to get this darn thing off of here. So I got this axe right here and this wedge, and I did it underneath like this way so that it would go underneath these pins. Both of them would be underneath those pins, and I hammered them in there tight, real tight. I stuck the nut back on there like this, went all the way down to where that it was about level. I like that. And then I took a piece of plate, a little quarter inch piece of plate, metal, and I held it on the edge there. And man, I started beating the fire out of that with a hammer. And I tell you what, that thing finally broke loose. It scared the dickens out of me, boy. It popped off there. It made a loud racket and jumped up toward me. I thought it hit me in the face. So anyways, I got it off. Now I got to take it and turn it over and get to the pins themselves, and I'm going to soak them before I start trying to take them off. So I'm going to get to that. I want you to look at how funky these are. Man, they are rusted bad. And that there is pretty nasty. I'm going to get that all cleaned up. I'm going to put some penetrating oil around here, around these big nuts that are on here, and see if I can get these broke off of there. It don't look like it's going to be easy. Get a brush on them first. The key to going over this with this brush is you want to try to get enough rust cleaned out. You want to to try to get enough rust cleaned out that you can get some of that penetrating oil right along that edge right there where it'll go in and around it. Because if you don't, so you can see it's got a little bit of groove right here maybe. Get that penetrating oil to go down in there. If you just leave that rust up on there, you just leave it up like it is and spray it on there, it's not going to get down inside there, it'll just run off. So you want to make sure you clean it off a little bit and try to get it to where it starts down in around the threads. Now we'll let them soak, and I'll put a wrench on them periodically and see if I can get them busted free. Alright y'all, I finally got some blades for the Bush Hog. I'll show you here. As you can see, they're totally different than what came off of that thing. These are a lot lighter weight, a lot thinner, but my local shop, this is all they had, was these big heavier ones. So I'm hoping that they're going to be a lot more durable and they don't tear the, and hopefully they won't tear the gearbox up. I asked the guy about that when I got them, and he said, well, they're just made for a heavier duty or gearbox. Maybe they'll be okay. You know, we don't want it to come all apart, but I'm gonna, when you get them, they're not very sharp. I guess they're sharp enough as far as cutting brush down, I don't know, but I'm gonna go ahead and grind them down and make them a little sharper so they cut grass a little better. I'm going to put some grease and stuff in here before I stick it on. I also had to get another washer. One of the washers was cracked. So I'm going to get back to getting this together, and hopefully we can use it this afternoon. I don't know if you can tell, it's kind of cloudy and overcast, but we had lots of rain the last 2 days. We got forecasts for more, but if I can get it back together, I may just try to see if it works and knock some grass down with it. Go ahead and try to clean this out before I get it all put together, because that'll be heavy. Get some of the rust out of that. Put a little grease on these things, maybe they'll come off easier next time. I got the shaft on there pretty clean. We'll put some grease on it as well. Right. Stick that pin in there. Now then. Now we try to straighten this out. Right here. See if we can't get this thing going. Alright, I'm going to try something real quick. Let me show you what I got. So I put this train around that tree there. I got it tangled around this right here, hooked around. And then I hooked another chain up underneath there where I bent that. And I'm going to back up with the tractor here slowly. Put some pressure on it and just see if I can't bend that back out. Try to lift it up and rehook that chain. There we go. Okay, now let's put this in there. If it'll stay there. If I can get that bent around back that way, that'll work. Let's see. Wanting to bend the whole thing back in again. That'll work. I'm gonna put it over here. Well, I got it straightened out pretty good. Looks pretty good. I'll have to tack weld this up here, and then maybe that right there. Well, got that fixed. Now we got to see about using it, but unfortunately not with this tractor. Tried to put it together, the shaft's too short. Maybe it'll work on the other one.